What the fuck do we need to buy? I'll buy it right now.
What do you want to buy?
What do you need?
For what?
What do you want? We need a better setup here.
Well, we're getting ready to relocate. Hello, YouTube. I don't know who's watching us right now, but oh, it's Shelly.
Hi, Shelly.
Shelly, good to see you, babe. I don't know that we're getting ready to relocate the shit show to the Griage, as my son calls it. So once we get out there, we're going to have a lot more room.
Mm-hmm.
And we are now live on Chop Block TV. Good evening, Chop Blockers. Miss Monica is here.
I'm here. Hi.
Buddy is there. I am right here, as usual. I feel like I sound a little bit better since I took a shot.
Yeah.
Oh.
My voice? Yeah.
Yeah. We probably should have like a few shots in here, so that way if
Well,
you start feeling like it's starting to get, you just go for another one.
I mean, nobody wants to watch me vomit that I know
Or
of.
logo shot.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? Blue Hurricane?
Oh.
That stuff killed GP.
Yeah, that was.
Actually, I believe it was actually good to see you guys, too. Thank you very much for joining us, Shelly.
Thanks, Del.
I believe it was that Mad Dog 357.
Mad Dog 357, yeah.
The hot sauce.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Hello, Chop Block TV. Welcome to the padded room. Crack House Matt is in the house.
Hi, Matt.
Hey, man.
Matt's in the house.
What's up, sir?
Yeah,
Has-
that's 2 weeks in a row.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that you're joining us. Jim's in the house.
Jim and Reno.
Hickory
Hi,
Dickory
Jim.
Dock. Have any of you
Jerry's
guys?
not sitting on my clock.
This guy with his homoeroticism, I swear to God. I see you are doing Monica's favorite movie tonight. Stevesy.
Yeah?
Stevesy's in the house. Stevesy, thank you very much for your Patreon donation,
Yes,
sir.
thank you
Yes,
so much.
thank you.
Have any of you guys actually seen Street Trash all the way through?
The rough one.
It's not rough. I wouldn't call it rough.
Oh my God.
It's a very I feel like this movie belongs in like an abstract art museum, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because I've watched it, what, like 1 time?
Yeah, many
To get
many
through it the
times.
whole way?
Oh, come on
No,
now.
'cause I love it.
I feel like you're a Street Trash hater right off the bat. I don't approve.
You
I don't
don't
approve of that. All right, you maniacs. Are we ready to start the podcast?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Good evening, folks. Good evening, Stevesy. All right. I feel like I'm gonna have to scoot up a little bit here to get my full exposure.
We're good to
All
go.
right, microphone's on.
Microphone's on.
Check.
I'm on.
Check.
Check.
How do I look? You doing okay?
How do I look?
I laughed hard when Joe Bob said the director found Jesus and disowned every part of this film. See, that's exactly right, Crackhouse Matt, and that is the kind of movie knowledge you get when you watch the. Oh, Crease is in the house.
Hi, Chris.
Crease, I love you.
Do it.
I said it there. I said it. That's the kind of movie knowledge you get when you watch the Joe Bob version of the movie. But you
All right.
motherfuckers refuse to use my Shutter password, which I have given both of you, by the way.
Oh, I watched it on Shutter.
Did you watch it? You just didn't
Just
watch the
about-
Joe Bob
Right.
version. Throw yourself out the window. Get out. Get out right now. How dare you? I give them Joe Bob, and what do they say? They say no Joe Bob. Forget it. All right. Let's. You see what? You see what I'm dealing
Joe
with?
Bob's Chicken.
There's a Joe Bob's Chicken Shack here in Reno. You never been to Joe Bob's?
No.
Oh,
Why
it's
would
good.
I go to a chicken shack?
There used to
Right. They got great salads too.
Vegan, this one.
Right.
Although she did at one point say she would eat a chicken burrito bowl,
Yes.
which I will purchase for her
I said I would try one of those.
the entire bowl.
The entire bowl.
You have to eat the whole
I
bowl.
would do the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm actually. Looks like you're the only one on theme and dressed professionally, Darian. Well, thank you very much, Crease. I tried. Crease. Okay, first off, I read.
Chris, we have it in the making. You and Buddy are going to be dressed
It's
very soon.
it's fine. Whatever.
Or undressed.
What? I mean, I don't know if you saw last week's show, Crease, but woo. Crease, we read your email on the air, and I want you to know that I love you first and foremost, and that I consider you a great friend, and I hope I didn't come off disrespectful in my addressing of it. But your defense of the Paul Feig Ghostbusters movie is very strange to me. I will just leave it at that. Listen to the rest of the show if you want to hear what I had to say. You ready to go?
Yep. Let's
You
rock
ready to
and
go?
roll.
I'm ready.
Let's hit it.
I am all over the street.
Okay, I'll hit it.
Oh, good.
I thought you were on mouse duty. I don't know what you're doing. You're over here slacking. Fine, I'll do
I'm
it.
staring at the camera.
It's fine. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do everything like I always do. That's right, inmates. We are talking about Street Trash from 1987.
Yeah.
This one is written and directed. Actually, it's directed by James Burrow, written by Roy Frumke. This one got 6.1 stars on IMDb. Joe Bob only gave it 2 stars.
Oh, really?
I was really surprised
Me
when
too.
I saw it. I was
Maybe I
like,
should watch
yeah.
the Joe Bob.
Joe Bob gave it 2 stars.
Yeah.
It starred,
What?
that's a 2 out of 5. So,
Oh,
so it's different. It's a whole other thing.
Hmm.
It stars Mike Lackey, Bill Chappelle, and Vic Noto. It's important to note right off the bat that none of these guys went on to any kind of acting or film careers after this movie.
no, because one of them was an actual police
One of them was
officer.
a New York
Yeah.
cop, an NYPD officer. That's that was Bill Chappelle, by the way. He actually played a cop in the movie.
Mhm.
So we thank you for your service, Bill. I don't know what he's doing these days. I know he's not acting.
He might be deceased.
He looked like he was in good shape, overbite notwithstanding.
Well, the other guy was an actual military guy as well.
Yes,
So, yeah.
but that is open for speculation because if anybody bothered to watch the actual Joe Bob Briggs version of this movie, you would find out. We're talking about Vic Noto, who played the role of Bronson in the movie, and his own job description of what he did in the military is beyond ridiculous. He said he was in the Air Force as a, oh God, it's like a full paragraph of what he did. He was like a onboard reconnaissance technician for an elite military. It just goes on and on.
I
And
know.
basically it equates to nothing at all. So I don't know. I mean, I don't want to disparage the man, whoever he is, but I hope he did well with himself. He's no longer acting, and I think that's for the best because, I mean, this movie, his portrayal in this movie, despite his willingness to shave his beard or grow a beard, depending on which. All right. Anyway, we're talking about Street Trash. It's already hot as shit in here. I should mention right off the top, we have a special guest in studio. Miss Monica has addressed him before as her parole officer. Jesse is in the building. Mr. Monica is in the building. Jesse, come over here and say hi. There he
What's up,
is,
guys?
the parole officer himself, in studio. Now, for those of you with your pants around your ankles and a bottle of Jergens, hoping she was going to take her shirt off again, probably not going to happen. I mean, number one, she's
Cash donations required.
cash donations
Yeah, he's
required.
always trying to pick me up for money. I always do it for
We got bills to pay around here, kiddo. I'm sorry. Hey, Nez is in the house. What's up, Nez?
Hi,
Hey,
Dad.
Nez.
If you're not listening to the Mac Nez podcast, do so. If you like this show, you're gonna love that one.
Mhm.
Woo! It's fun following Nez on social media because you never know where he's gonna turn
I
up.
know, right?
You're like, he's in New York, he's in LA, he's in London, he's in my fucking bathroom. What's he doing in my bathroom? He just met Robert Englund in my bathroom. What's he doing? Get out of there, Nez. What are you doing? What the hell is Robert Englund doing in my bathroom? Patreon exclusive content. It's been a while. You're exactly right, Crease. You are exactly right. I will address that. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a little under the weather these days. All right, so we're talking about Street Trash from 1980. Do it for me. Nez wants you to show the girls.
Oh, I have a
She's not wearing the push-up bra, Nez. I'm sorry.
yeah. For next week, I'll get a special bra.
Oh no.
What?
Jim says Darian looks like the dad in the Johnny eating sugar TikTok video. Jim,
What's that one?
if you have a kid under the age of 10, you know exactly what Jim is
Oh,
talking
I
about.
know.
Johnny, Johnny, yes, Papa, eating sugar, no, Papa, telling lies, no, Papa, open your mouth, ha, ha, ha.
Oh, that was excellent.
Wow.
My son has made me watch that video 350,000 times. Notice how I recited that all by myself, sight unseen? I can do the whole thing. All right, anyway, we're talking about street trash. Let's get back on topic here. So we're going to open up with now we're in 1987 New York City.
Mhm.
I don't know what it is about 1987 New York City, but I love it, and I wish we could somehow go back there.
Mhm.
It feels to me like 1987 New York City was like the whole city was under mortar attack for about a month
Right?
because it's nothing but like built like half buildings and like rubble of other buildings that got knocked over and just
Mhm.
homeless vagrants all over the goddamn place.
Warriors.
Oh, the Warriors, right?
Warriors, yeah.
Love the Warriors. You know what else is a great example of
Oh.
1980s New York City? What?
The Bronx Warrior.
That's another good one.
Yeah.
I was thinking Wolfen. Remember that?
Oh
Which
yeah.
Edward James almost as a weird Native American werewolf. Warriors. Wall Street with Charlie Sheen was made in 87. That's
Yeah.
like Manhattan, New York City, though, Jim. You know what I mean?
Jim.
We're talking
we don't
about-
belong on that side.
No, we're talking about like dirty people getting worked over in the subway for no reason, like graffiti everywhere. 3 or 4 homicides in Times Square a day in New York City. You know what I mean? That's gone now. It's all sanitized, which is probably for the best. But
Mhm.
for the purposes of filmmaking, what
It was perfect.
you want to see as far as New York goes, you want to see Dee Wallace in a sex shop glory hole booth type of a thing. You know what I mean? You're talking about the Howling. Remember the
Yeah.
opening of the Howling?
Uh-huh.
You're expecting a cock to come flapping through the side. Fuck, get out of here. What are you doing? Sorry about the microphone there. Hey, Troy's in the house.
Hey,
Hi,
Troy.
Troy.
Welcome to the show, Troy. Thank you for your voicemail, sir. You did
Yeah.
very well. And I'm curious
Yeah.
about the missing 411 there. We're going to get to that in a second. Anyway, so that's where we're opening up. It's in shady, disgusting 1987 New York City. Guy taking his garbage out. Homeless dude camped out by his garbage can. And what we get is an Assassin's Creed-esque, like him sneaking in, except instead of killing somebody for a lot of money, all he does is steal a bottle of hooch.
Mhm.
Which, I mean,
Fire!
for Freddy's amount of skill and agility and stealth abilities, you would think he would have more in mind
Yeah.
than just a cheap bottle of hooch. But that's what happens. He like sneaks in like very stealthily right behind the guy, grabs a bottle, gets chased, causes a car accident on his way out, gets chased by more dudes.
Mhm.
They all follow him on his way. He like stumbles upon in a weird way one homeless dude shaking down another homeless dude
Yeah.
and taking that homeless dude's $3. He of course just grabs the $3 and hauls ass. This is very reminiscent to me of a movie. Have you guys ever seen Breaking 2: Electric Boogaloo?
I have.
No?
Is that a
No.
breakdancing movie?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Remember the scene where Turbo stole the construction workers' lunch?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing,
Oh, yeah.
minus the getting hit by a car. Thank you very much, Crease. Remember the scene where Turbo took the construction workers' lunch and he got hit by a car, ended up in the hospital? Very similar to that, except this goes a different route.
Mm-hmm.
So our homeless guy, we're going to know this guy as Freddy later, but at the moment we just know him as the guy with the weirdo purple felt pimp hat. And
Mm-hmm.
we're talking 87 New York City. So everybody's got like grease stains all over them. And
He almost looks like a member of Fleetwood Mac.
I would buy that.
Wow,
I would buy
yeah.
that. Yeah. I mean, minus the facial hair, he could probably pass as Stevie Nicks.
Oh, I was thinking
She had
of
some
the
rough
other
years.
lady, Christine McVie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I could see that. She was very into the. Oh, Inky Pinky's in the house.
Hi, honey.
You're a little late, Breezy, but that's okay. You got in time for the show. Oh, Jesse's here. The parole officer.
Way to check in.
Way to check in. He's actually right over here in the corner.
Who's free, man? I got
Boom! Thank you very much, sir. So we get a very cool. Did Darian address the recent dental work at the top of the show, or am I hearing things? Dental work. Did anybody have dental work? Uh, no, I'm a little under the weather, Grease, but other than that, I'm fine. Anyway, so very cool little chase scene, very Assassin's Creed-esque, where he's like climbing over buildings and doing 1987 New York parkour in a weird way.
Mhm.
Does a lot of kick flips and stuff like that. Causes a car accident. The guy in the car gets out, chases after him. The guy that he took the $3 from is also chasing him.
Mhm.
He gets to an apartment building and he's like, "Whoa!" He gets cornered. He's like, "Whoa, guys, hey, take it easy." And then you're lisping real bad. Couple could be my connection. We did a couple of shots, and I'm also very sick, Chris. I don't know what, dude. I don't know what I got, but it's bad.
Oh,
It's,
great. And we're like right next to you.
and I'm gonna give it to these two.
Oh, you're gonna take mine.
Woo! I'm going to the doctor tomorrow. It'll be fine. And I've had a couple of shots. Anyway, the fire escape ladder comes down. So he goes up, and it's very coincidental that the apartment building that he's up against just so happens to be on fire.
Mhm.
So he goes running up the fire escape, breaks in, like jumps into an apartment window where I thought for a second two guys were having sex, but it turns out one of them is actually female. And I know that because when she stands up, you can see her meat curtains for a second. Vagina lips is what I'm talking about.
And the 80s.
A lot of bush going on. A lot of. Was it just me, or was everybody in this apartment building naked?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like at noon on a Tuesday for no reason. So the apartment building's on fire. Everybody's running out of the building. There, like one guy's got his cock flapping. He's got a lamp. That's what you're gonna save is the fucking lamp or whatever. There's like boobs bouncing, and everybody's running out, and this guy's running up the fire escape.
Mhm.
This is 80s bush rot. You are exactly
Yeah.
right, Jesse.
Yep.
Buddy is starting to look like one of the homeless guys in the movie.
You're welcome.
All he needs is like some grease smears and tear some holes in his shirt. He's there. Excuse me. So that's pretty bad. Good news, our homeless guy manages to get out of the building before it goes into full inferno mode. Gets out. Guys are waiting for him at the bottom. They're chasing him again. He jumps into a garbage truck and gets like a speedy lift out of there.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, the compactor of the truck starts to activate. So he jumps out and he's got to choose between his $3 or his bottle of hooch. He grabs like two of the $3 and then he's got to haul ass out of there. And that's the opening of the movie.
Mhm.
That's where we're starting. That's where we're setting the bar for this movie.
Yeah.
Everyone naked in an apartment on noon on Tuesday is how you get that burning sensation when you urinate.
Very true.
Not so, Jim. The burning sensation will come later in the movie when we get to the bum rape. I believe I have found the origin of the AIDS virus. All right. Anyway, so that's the opening. Now we get the street trash. From here, we're going to cut. That was kind of cute. It was fun. From there, we're going to cut to a liquor store owner somewhere in this vicinity of this neighborhood. He's like doing inventory and sweeping the place up. And he's a big fat guy, and he's got a beard and like a mop top haircut. He goes right to one mysterious wall panel in the basement, peels it open, and finds a mysterious crate in the wall panel in the basement.
Yeah.
He's like, "What the fuck is this?" He's talking to himself the whole time for no reason. What the fuck is this? I'm gonna takes it upstairs, opens it up. There's a bunch of like crusty bottles in there. They're all liquor bottles, and they all say Viper on them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, so he's like, oh, like half of them are broken. There's like 30 of these things. So he puts them on sale at the front rack for $1 a piece.
Man, what a bargain.
I mean, that's an enterprising young individual right there. I was going to say young man, but he looked pretty old. So he's ready to go. He's going to sell these things for $1 a piece.
Mhm.
So he puts them up there. In comes Freddie, our felt hatted homeless guy. He's like, "All right, what do you got for me? I got $2. What do you got here?" So he sells him a bottle of this Viper stuff, whatever. It's some kind of alcohol, I would assume. Freddy leaves. Another random homeless guy in a wheelchair comes in and like smashes into the display and goes flopping on the floor. Freddy actually pockets the bottle of the Viper and goes hauling ass. Once he gets outside, he gets somewhat accosted by another dude. This guy's on a crutch. I want to say he had one leg. Was there two legs or just one? Were they bad legs?
No, they were bad legs.
But he did have two of them.
Yeah,
Yes.
he did have two legs.
Two legs don't work for shit. Two bad legs, I think, is what it is. Freddy sits down and this guy starts like, oh, you know, I got a fucking, my kid came by, he's got a computer job, I told him to fuck off. Blah. Another homeless dude, obviously. Freddy's like, oh, you know, those computer guys are junkies, and then the crutch guy like gets all up on him and he's like, you know, he lifts the bottle of Viper out of Freddy's jacket. And then takes off. He gives him some fucking story about being constipated. And Freddy's like, put some raisins in your booze. Perfect. Clean you right out. Viper, it's Thunderbird with a bite. You're exactly right, Tom.
Oh,
Tom, I love your show, by the way. I'm going to call in very soon. Raven is also in the house. Hi, Raven.
Hi, Raven.
We're talking about street trash. I should probably apologize up front.
No, it's fantastic.
Don't listen to her.
That's moving.
That's fine. So that's pretty gnarly. Unfortunately, Freddy gets his bottle of Viper lifted out of his pocket. So Viper is natural cotton cleanser, colon cleanser. I get that. It's natural everything cleanser, really, because it will wreck your entire shit. I think is what's going to happen. So the crutch guy takes the bottle and he's like, all right, I'm going to get out of here. He goes around the corner to one of these mortar attack buildings. And I guess there's just like one random toilet there.
Yeah.
In the middle of the rubble. So he's like, I'm going to take a shit and then I'm going to drink this stuff. So he starts drinking the Viper on the shitter. And then he immediately devolves into what I like to call toilet sherbet. I think that is the best possible description of what happens to this dude. It rates up there with Mad Dog. I've been drunk on Mad Dog, Jesse. It is not a good time. But when you're broke and you need to get hammered, Mad Dog 2020, I think the grape flavor was my favorite. It's bad. It's really bad. It's a doorway to vomit. That's what it is. So that's this guy like literally like sponges down to a puddle of like purples and blues and yellows. Very artistic. But at the same time, at the very end, he's still got like one eyeball, a nostril, and some teeth as he's going down the toilet into the shitter.
Almost reminded me of the basket case.
A little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's like down into the toilet. It's weird. Don't ask questions. Grab me some Four Loko Monica, downtown Reno, and a camera phone, and we can live shoot the sequel to Street Trash.
Who said that?
Crack House Matt.
Oh, I'm all for it.
She's on it. She's a Mad Dog 2020 aficionado.
No, Four Loco, not Mad Dog.
I mean, really, they're in the same neighborhood, though.
Oh.
I feel like if there was like a sommelier for Mad Dog 2020 or a Four Loko,
No, there's no carbonation in Mad Dog.
I think that makes it easier, really, because you don't have to deal with the burps.
Oh, no, thank you.
That was the hardest part. Remember about what 4 years ago that was back when it was just me and her. She shows up with like a garbage bag of Four Loko. And she's like we're doing this on the show, right? And I'm like, oh God. All right.
Yes, we are.
All right, I guess.
Those were bad flavors. They came out with an apple flavor that's excellent.
There is no good flavor of Four Loko unless you're homeless, okay? It's bad. I believe it was the Blue Hurricane.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
there
the
was a
one
Blue
you
Hurricane.
had.
Yeah, no, you had the same one,
No,
as I
I had
recall.
the peach one, remember?
Did you?
Yeah.
I remember
We
we
just took taste of it.
there was
Yeah.
she brought like a sampler of Four Loko. And we cracked them all, and then like 6 of them, like we took a sip of and put them in the fridge, and they were there for a year. And then I finally threw them out. And every show after that, I was like, hey, you got this Four Loco here. You want to have? Oh, no, it's okay. So finally, after a year, I'm like, oh, God. This is making my refrigerator stink. Ugh.
I'll just put it in my radiator.
Yeah. Use it to degrease my engine or some shit.
Right.
So bad. Hey, Ricky's in the house.
Hi, Ricky.
Hey, Ricky.
You're a mad dog, Monica, he says. It's true. It's true. Ricky, you're exactly right. It's bad. So already we got one guy who's drank the Viper and he's like puddled himself after that. So from there, we're going to cut to a very curious homeless situation. We have a junkyard, and that's all well and good. And we have a homeless encampment. What I want to say, like half of it is inside the junkyard, and then like the bad elements are outside the junkyard. I don't know if that's accurate or not. So inside the junkyard, we have well, this is where Freddie lives. He's got himself like a tire cave that he's built around a couple of cars,
Yeah.
and his younger brother Kevin lives there also. And we have an employee of the junkyard, an Asian young lady, who I believe was looking to sleep rape Kevin.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because she just creeps in there, gets on top of him, and starts like licking his face. And Kevin, of course, wakes up and is like, "What the fuck?" Turns out he was actually having a nightmare about being raped by a dog. Kevin has some issues, needless to say. They kind of, what do you think? Kevin's like, what, 16, 17
Yeah.
tops?
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, this is weird. This is weird right off the bat because the Asian young lady, probably mid to late 20s, I'm going to put her.
Mhm.
And not that attractive, to be honest with you, right, Katie? Had a bit of a mustache on her, to be honest with you. I'm not a fan of that. But she's, I mean, if you're homeless and you're living in a tire cave, you take what you can get, I suppose.
Right.
So from there, I mean, they have like a budding type of a weird, almost like an older brother or older sister, younger brother relationship. Very nice.
Mhm.
The homeless were the original tiny house movement. You're exactly right, Tom.
Yeah.
Tiny house movement. If you want to shit in the corner of your own house, she had a clean bush. Did we ever see Katie's bush?
When he reaches his hands.
That's right. When he goes to get a digit in there.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get to that in a second. Anyway, unfortunately, Freddie comes in and makes some ethnic slurs during this little
Mhm.
love affair, foray, whatever you want to call it. And Katie's like, "Hey, fuck you," and she takes off. We follow Katie for a second. We find out that she actually works for the junkyard. There's a big fat guy that appeared in all of the Trauma movies from like 1987 to 1992.
Mm-hmm.
You'll recognize him from The Class of Nukem High,
Mm-hmm.
Toxic Avenger, a couple other ones. He's like typecast as the fat guy.
Mm-hmm.
He is the junkyard owner, and he's given Katie a good helping of sexual harassment / haranguing about the kids that live in the junkyard.
Right.
Now, right about now, we're going to cut to what I believe is just outside the junkyard, like literally outside the walls of the junkyard, where we have a whole other situation taking place. I believe we have like a fiefdom here, or some kind of a like a feudal regiment where we have somebody has crowned himself king of the outer junkyard in a weird way. And by king, I mean he sits on top of a wrecked car with a blanket over his head.
Yeah.
And that is his version of royalty.
His throne.
Yeah, I guess.
He's the boss in there.
This is the worst episode of Game of Thrones I've ever seen in my whole life. So he just sits. Game of crap. That's what it should be called. So he sits there with a blanket over his head, and what's about to happen is the guy that was shaking down the bum earlier for the $3. He has to go explain to this dude why he doesn't have the $3.
Mm-hmm.
So he shows up. He's like, "Hey, boss." Mind you, he's talking to a dude with a blanket over his head. He's like, "Hey, boss, I'm really sorry to bother you. I had some money, but Freddie showed up and he stole it and he ran and jumped into a garbage truck and then the blanket comes off and we see this dude. His name is Bronson. Big scary guy. Alan's in the house.
Hey,
Alan! The homeless have a rich and vibrant social hierarchy. You're probably right, Tom.
Yeah.
That is like a documentary waiting to happen that nobody actually wants to make. So he's like, "God damn, Freddy!" Mind you, we're talking about $3 fucking here. So he explained to Freddy, and Freddy's like, "Yeah, I got $3." Freddy's like out somewhere else. He's unconscious, actually, on one of the steps, like out in the city somewhere. So this dude Bronson is all pissed off. He's like, "I'm gonna kill Freddy." He's got a naked chick like over his lap, and when the blanket comes off, she does like a wah, and then goes rolling down the hill. And what the fuck? What what is going on? I don't understand. I mean, is she that? I don't know. I don't know. Sexual practices of the homeless in New York, 1987, is something I am not accompanied with. So she goes flopping down to this dude's feet, and he's like, "I'm gonna get your money, boss. I'm gonna get your money." So this dude goes hauling ass after the Freddy, finds him, knocks him out, goes through his pockets, and of course the money is gone also. So that's that. Freddy then rolls back to his homeless tire cave or whatever it is, crawls in there and finds James, and that's where the ethnic slurs come into play. That's pretty harsh, and it's also pretty gross. Right now, we're going to cut back to Bronson, who apparently has decided that he needs to recoup his losses on the Freddy Chase robbery situation. So he's going to go out to the local, window washing circuit, I suppose. Intersection where all the homeless dudes hang out with squirt bottles and rags. And okay, I get what you're doing here. You're going to wash my window and you expect me to tip you for washing said window. Rubbing your face on my window is just going to make it dirtier.
Jumping on the car.
Licking it is no way. No, now you owe me money, motherfucker, because I have to get that shit cleaned professionally. I don't get that, but apparently that was a big thing in the homeless community in New York at one point. So instead of actually washing windows for Bronson, instead he goes out there and just stands in front of cars. I should mention also that he's a big, scary guy. The homeless have a higher. Yeah, we did that. I tipped him to not wash my window. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Tom. So he just goes out there and stands. Here comes a young couple in their car, and the dude is some kind of a fuckface. He's like, "Hey, how's it going? I don't know. I'm trying to engage this guy." And the girl's like, "Just go. Just get the fuck out of here." And Bronson is like, fucking with his windshield wipers and like grabbing his car. And then the guy's like, you Vietnam veterans, you're okay in my book. So Bronson grabs him, pulls him out of the car, and throws him through his own windshield, which I thought was a nice touch.
Yeah.
You don't want to mess up somebody else's car when you do that. Right. The chick freaks out. Hey, Christina's in the house, and so is Creeper Mama. Hey, Christina, that's Creeper Mama. Creeper Mama.
I can't see that far.
I know. We're going to be doing some upgrades at some point. Anyway, so that's like, we're showing what a badass this Bronson character is. From there, we're actually going to cut to a couple blocks away where a tough, hardened New York cop is on the scene. And he is like investigating all this weird shit that's going on. And he knows, he's got some idea of like the homeless hierarchy. He knows about Bronson. He knows Bronson's a piece of shit. He wants to bring Bronson in, obviously, as he should, because he's got this weird, organized homeless crime family, I guess, except really all they're doing, they're shaking people down for like $2 and $3. Like
hard time.
I know
that was a lot of money in '87.
I know, but it's like, here's the change out of my cup holder. Is that even worth your time? There, go, get out of here, get the fuck on. But that guy now owes Bronson like a percentage. It's very strange, this whole homeless syndicate thing. But whatever, it's fun. So the cop is like, oh, I got you now, you motherfucker. Now we're going to cut back to the liquor store. You'll notice that I am all over the fucking place with this movie. And the reason for that is because this movie is all over the fucking place. You see that? So now we're going to cut back to the liquor store where our friend with the Viper just put that on display. Here comes a random dude in a tuxedo, and he's like, "I lost it all, man. I lost it all in '67. I bet everything. I bet my wife and my kids, and I bet." And he's in it. How do you? What did he bet on?
I don't.
I don't think they
I don't. It doesn't matter really, but I'm very curious. I don't know if he's just making this shit up or whatever, but he's going on, and then as he's doing this, of course, he lifts a bottle of Viper out of there, and then he goes out. He goes to his little hovel, which is actually on a fire escape, like 3 floors up,
Yeah.
and he starts drinking his Viper, and of course, he puddles himself in the weird sherbet way and starts dripping through the fire escape onto the people walking on the street below.
And the
Not
poor
good.
kitty.
And there was a cat. There was a kitty.
Kitty was there.
I don't think the kitty actually drank the Viper.
No,
though.
the kitty was.
Kitty
like,
got the fuck out. He bet on the movie being coherent. Lost it all, Tom. He lost everything. Thought this movie was gonna make some money. Not today, baby. So as he's dripping, here comes this poor businessman who's like walking with his friends, catches a puddle of homeless on his face,
Yeah.
and of course melts his face. But before it does, the businessman just goes hauling ass through the streets of New York, like running full speed. All of his friends are chasing him. He eventually runs right past our undercover cop, collapses, and then he himself turns into a puddle. The cop is like, "Hey, what happened? What happened?" And there's some very fun dialogue here where a young lady is like, "Why don't you help him? Why don't you help him?" And the cop is like, "Are you sure you don't have a cock?"
I was like, okay.
What?
Yeah.
What does that have to do with anything? She's trying to get you to help the guy. You sure you don't have a cock, lady? Writing at its finest. All right, so that's fun. But now this cop is like on the scene. It's the same undercover cop from before, and he's like, "Oh, there's like a weird string of like dead bodies turning up, and they're all weirdly dissolved and melted. And what the fuck is going on here?" He's trying to find a way to pin this on Bronson, which I mean, it's not really Bronson's fault, but we should probably go ahead and get him off the street anyway, right? So from there, we're going to cut back to Freddie and Kevin. They're kind of having like a little celebration type of a thing because Kevin made $5 helping one of the junkyard workers junk a car or do some other hard labor. So here comes another random homeless dude, and he's like, "Hey, give me 3 of those $5, and I'm going to go get us some food. I'm going to make us a great dinner." From here, we get a 25-minute shoplifting spree segment of this homeless dude in a gas mask. That's not suspicious at all.
Right.
No.
Walking around a supermarket, shoving chicken down his pants.
I love this.
This is like half the movie. This is half of the movie
Fire
right
in your
here.
hand.
Yeah. I mean, these are really baggy pants, and he is just on he probably has about $100 worth of groceries shoved down his pants, which begs the question, what exactly was the $3 for?
The Viper.
He didn't use it for anything. I don't know. Anyway, so we get it's very pointless, really. He's just walking around a supermarket, shoving stuff down his pants. Old lady catches him. She's like, "I'm going to tell the manager." Goes and gets the manager. Manager comes out. He's like, "Hey, you got a bunch of chicken down your pants." And he's like, "Motherfucker, you want to look down my pants and see what I got?" And the N-word gets thrown around because they're both black. N-word gets thrown around a little bit. And
I got a receipt.
yeah, it's like he found a receipt in the garbage. So he's like, "I got a receipt right here, bitch." And then
It's for dog
the
food.
manager's like, "It's a bunch of dog food. You got a bunch of chicken in your pants." He was shaking, baking the chicken in his pants. You know, you work with what you have, Tom. Do not eat that chicken. Here's the fun part, though, and this was one of my favorite parts of the movie. Manager's like, "You know what? Just get out of here." So instead of like leaving, he walks right through a plate glass window, which I thought was
He
a
puts
not.
a bag over his head and does it.
Yeah.
A paper sack.
Why not? Why not? You don't. I mean, he's got a gas mask like hanging around his neck. Instead, he grabs a paper bag, puts it over his head, right through the window. Why not? Why not walk through the window? That's what I would do. Anyway, That's like a 5 to 10 minute segment of the movie right there. All right, that's fun. So he goes back. They have a nice dinner. It's all well and good. At this point, Kevin has like $2 stashed in a toilet paper roll in his weird tire cave. So everybody's going to bed for the night. Freddy wakes up, steals Kevin's $2, and leaves the tire cave. What the fuck is going on? Freddy's a piece of shit, is what we're getting to, unfortunately, because he was probably one of, if not the most endearing character of the film. Freddy goes out, and I assume he's going to score some hoops. But what he stumbles upon instead is a young lady throwing up in an alley like a couple blocks away. So he comes around the corner, attracted by the smell of vomit, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Durandur. All right, Christine, whatever you say, babe. Power move right there. If I could make all my exits via plate glass windows, I would. Right? I would. I don't know how many plate glass windows are left in this town, but I'll smash my way right through those motherfuckers, Reese. So he stumbles upon this young lady who's throwing up in an alleyway. And he's like, "Oh, hey, what's going on?" She is completely hammered, obviously. And he's like, "Hey, baby, let's get you out of here." So he takes her, and she apparently does not recognize who Freddy is, or doesn't recognize the smell, for that matter.
It doesn't care.
Doesn't care. So she's like, yeah, let's get out of here. You want to go somewhere and fuck? I go like a dozen where fuck. It's gonna be great. The chick throwing up had some of the taint flavored chicken.
Wow.
Apparently, they had the taint flavored chicken on special that night because it has intoxicating properties as well. So Freddy just kind of abducts her in a weird rapey kind of a way and just leads her back to the tire cave. She is completely oblivious to the fact that they're now in a junkyard. As that's happening, we're going to cut back to the restaurant where the doorman, we find out, is a complete schmuck. And we find out the girl was actually the girlfriend of a very powerful mob boss. Anybody recognize the doorman in this movie?
He's a comedian,
Is he?
right?
I don't know, but he also played in a movie called Frankenhooker.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
He was the guy that built Frankenhooker.
Yeah,
Wow.
I believe he was a comedian.
He might have been. Anyway, the mob boss comes out and he's like, "Hey, where's my fucking girlfriend?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't know. She went that way with some other guy." And the mob boss starts like berating the kid. It's fine. It doesn't matter. So now we cut back to Freddy with the mob boss's girlfriend. They get into the tire cave, and I want to say they may have had sex, but I
They did.
don't believe that coitus was actually achieved. I believe there was a lot of rolling around. Her clothes came off. I believe there was a lot of rolling around and some dry humping.
Well, she said, "I want to do it again."
Okay. Well, it was very disappointing then, because there was like a 38 seconds of pure bliss, and then Freddy just kind of fell asleep.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why she was
And
like, "I want to do it again."
And the homeless people were watching.
Yeah, they're
I
all.
love that part.
I'm gonna be over here.
A little voyeur, are you?
As Monica alluded, a small army of homeless people are like peeping through the little peepholes in the tire hovel, watching Freddy get his groove on,
And getting excited.
possibly beating off, but more to the point, just kind of like. Very crazy. Eventually, apparently, the eroticism of this moment takes them over, and they start like ripping the tire hovel apart
Yeah.
to get to the young lady, who is completely.
Yeah, wow. You really did like that part, didn't
I did.
You want to switch seats?
you? No, I'm good. I'm on this side.
Right. It's weird. And they are dirty old men. And I believe there were like some amputees in there and some wheelchair handicap
Ooh,
type
how
windows.
creepy is that?
Another great suggestion for Patreon exclusive content from Monica. Coming soon to the Patreon page. So, unfortunately for this young lady, this small army of homeless dudes pulls her through the tire cave, and drags her off into the night, presumably to be raped and murdered, as we are going to find out later in the movie.
Because the other guys just passed out.
Yeah, as Freddy just kind of rolls over and goes back to sleep. Disgusting. Disgusting. But there was a great line in this little scene. The drunk chick is like, "Hey, let's do 69." Freddy replies, "How about a 68? You blow me and I owe you one."
Yeah, that was funny.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Coming at you. And this, actually, I believe, is where the AIDS virus pandemic started, right here in New York City. So that being said, now we're going to cut back to our undercover cops the next morning. He's at the medical examiner's office where he's doing an autopsy on the guy that flushed himself down the toilet. And what do you know? The medical examiner is eating while he is doing the examination, because that's something that always happens in movies.
Yeah.
This is like the third movie we've seen this month where
We talk about it too.
we had somebody doing an autopsy
Mhm.
while eating a sandwich. Although I think in this case it was sushi, but regardless,
Fries.
something, yeah, sushi and fries. Who does that?
Yeah.
Anyway, so here comes another cop, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna take Bronson down for this shit." 5-second slam, and asleep he goes. LOL. You know, what do you expect, Christina, from a homeless guy living in a tire cave? They're not known for their stamina, as far as I know. Anyway, so they're like, "Oh, we're gonna take him down. We're gonna." So they go and they actually arrest the little homeless henchman, the one that beat up Freddy at the beginning of the movie,
Mhm.
and they throw him in the back of the paddy wagon with a bunch of '80s hookers, and we get a very weird scene of one of them possibly getting. I think she may have actually had sex with him, but
At
in,
one time.
I think she was on her way. But
Yeah.
then the cop like punches through the door, and he's like, "Come over here, you piece of shit! You tell me where Bronson is, and you tell me what's going on right now." And then I guess what they did, and I don't know if this was an actual tactic, they took the homeless dude, cleaned him up, gave him like new clothes, and put him back out on the street, as if to say, "Hey, he talked to the cops because look at all of his new clothes. He can no longer be trusted." I don't know. I don't know how that works. Anyway, that homeless dude, Bronson's little lieutenant, is back out on the scene, and now they have all the information they need to go after Bronson.
Mhm.
Our undercover cop drops the guy off, and as he's driving away, he sees Bronson, so he's like, "That motherfucker." So he turns around and he goes back into the junkyard, where we get a very cool, well, a very mediocre fist fight between Bronson and the cop. Bronson has himself, I guess, like a human femur bone that he has sharpened into like a stabbing type of a
Yeah.
weapon. And he stabs the cop in the back, and they still fight a little bit more. Eventually, Bronson manages to kill the cop, and we know that because later on we see one of his little lieutenants wearing the cop's cowboy boots.
Yeah,
Dead.
too.
Dead and buried, unfortunately. That sucks. But Bronson is still pissed off about the $2 that Freddy owes him, so he's like, "Gather the men. We're going after Freddy." Actually, after Kevin. And it's unfortunate that this should happen at this time, because this is going to cockblock Kevin and Katie in what I think was going to be a very strange and possibly inappropriate sex scene.
Mhm.
Kevin and Katie are having a moment. They're at the junkyard. Katie like kind of like twists the wrong way, and Kevin sees her box, so he goes to put a right in the old stink pipe, and she's like, "Hey." She's like, "Hey, whoa, hey there." But for a second, but then she's like, "Oh, you know what? I'm kind of into you. So let's go back to the office. Nobody's there for a minute." They go back to the office where she shows him what she has to offer for boobs, which is not much.
Mhm.
And then he's like, "Oh, let's get it on." But then Bronson shows up and he's like, "I'm gonna kill you, you fuck." He starts having Vietnam flashbacks. And we've had Vietnam flashbacks from this dude before. They're very strange. One of them involved Katie in a Viet Cong outfit licking his nipple with explosions in the background. Not 100% sure what that was supposed to mean, but I don't know that I approve either.
No.
I feel like that was racially insensitive in some way. I'm not sure which way yet. So that's pretty gnarly. We get a cat and mouse scene between Kevin and Bronson all through the junkyard. Freddy shows up halfway through, smashes a bottle of Viper on Bronson's face, which causes like his face, like all this stuff to come off.
Mhm.
Now he's got like a Freddy Krueger thing going on, but he's not dead yet. So he's like, "Oh, I gotta get you, you fucking." Bronson gets Freddy just outside like one of the garage bays and starts pounding on him. Kevin rolls up behind Bronson, finds himself an oxygen cylinder, knocks the regulator off, which basically turns it into a missile, flies right through Bronson, killing him in like a weird Mortal Kombat fatality kind of a way, where like his head and like part of his chest here is like completely separated from the rest of his body. That part is laying on the ground. At that point, Katie like steps over him, and he gets to see like his severed head, gets to see her panties, and he's like, and then he dies, and then that's pretty much the end of your movie, right?
Yeah.
We did forget one good scene
What's the best scene, Monica?
where the other dude loses his dick.
Oh, the
Oh, yeah.
Throwing it
that's
around.
the football cock party.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, there you have it. Pertinent to the story, not one bit. Still present in the movie though.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Football, cock, street cock, wait, cock football, street cock football. I think is the best.
Right.
That's what you call
That
that.
was a good 10 minutes of the film.
It was
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Back and forth, and then the fat guy gets it, and he runs, and then he throws it.
Like a chick gets it.
Oh, she
Yeah.
was all like,
Yeah, she's like,
oh,
"Ooh,
oh
see
my
it."
God.
And then Bronson sees her, and he's like, "Hey, you throw that cock to the next guy." She's like, "Ah, shit, you're right."
Don't be cheating on me with that little thing.
Hey, you better shove that off onto the next dude immediately. And that is Street Trash, ladies and gentlemen. What did you guys think of Street Trash?
Was one of my favorites.
It is a. I was thinking, I was like, who is the protagonist of this film? I don't think it's Freddy. Kevin, possibly, but he's only in it for about 6 minutes, just long enough to finger pop Katie and then get chased around for a second. And well, during the credits, we have another scene where the mob boss has apprehended the doorman,
Oh, yeah.
and he's like,
Yeah.
"You motherfucker, you talked a bunch of shit. I'm gonna kick your ass." But then he pulls a bottle of Viper out, and he's like, "Hey, I got your bottle of hooch here." And then he dissolves. That's kind of silly. And I mean,
They should make a part 2 of this.
I think they should remake it.
That would be good too.
They
Yeah.
should remake
Yeah.
it with a bunch of I don't know. I don't know.
With what they
There's
can
no-
do today.
There's no way this movie would get made today. It would be like, oh, it's insensitive to the homeless population.
Oh, that is true. Right about.
The chicken shoplifter pants is the protagonist.
Oh,
You're probably right, Tom. I think he took up most of the movie.
I didn't like the boss.
Which boss?
Oh, the one that was like pushing her around
Yeah,
in the
yeah. That was
chair?
gross.
Oh,
Did he
give me the fat
pretend
guy.
he's dead?
Yeah, well, I mean, you need some sexual harassment in this kind of. It's 1987.
Yeah, especially in the workplace.
It's New York.
Did you happen to notice one thing in the movie
Huh.
that was a big mishap?
What? What?
Buddy, remember the scene? Okay, so remember when she was in the little dome and she
Yes.
had on, what did she have on? White skirt, blue top.
No,
with
Oh.
a shirt.
when she originally went in, she was wearing black skirt
Oh,
and a blue top.
Okay.
And so then when you see her exit the door, her hair is all wet,
Okay.
white skirt, light blue tank top now.
You guys paid way more attention
I
to this
didn't
movie.
see that. He like pointed that out. He was like, rewind that and watch that. I'm like, oh wow, I never noticed it.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna go into a homeless tire hovel, you want to have a change of clothes ready,
Right.
because you're not gonna want to hang out in the same clothes that you wore inside the homeless tire hovel. Those now have scabies on them. So get rid of them as fast as you can. Put on the new clothes. If you have access to like a trash fire, just throw them in there because you don't want that shit spreading around.
I was kind of wondering why is it that every homeless person in the movie had like the dirt smudge here
Yeah.
and here, and I'm like,
I-
come on, they don't look like that.
Well, I don't know, but what I think, if you're homeless, what you want to do is you want to just find a parking lot and just roll. Just roll around, get under the cars, get as much smuts on you as you possibly can. That way you camouflage better.
Yeah.
For
Maybe get ran over a couple
if
times.
you could, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of the homeless dudes had weird random injuries too. Notice
Right?
that?
Yeah.
Like the guy that got his cock swiped off, he had like a head thing and like another head thing, and there's like another guy with like an arm. What the fuck? Is somebody just running around kicking the shit out of these guys?
No, when they're washing the windows, people run them over.
That's, I guess, and that's why you need a gas mask because that happens also.
Well,
They-
when you jump on the top of vehicles to wash your windshield wipers, what do you expect?
Ow, fuck! Stop!
Did you happen to notice too that everybody that dissolved, they each had a different color?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was like, what?
Not only that, but like weird pastels, neons, very avant-garde.
Yeah, it was
That guy
cool.
blew up.
Oh, that was
Oh,
bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
The exploding fat guy. The dirt on the face is from the Little Rascal School or Poor People Makeup. Is what it is. So
People make it.
you just get it all on there. It's like candy paint, you know. That way they can't see you coming when you're gonna jump on that car.
Yeah.
Ooh, sneak up on you.
Homeless war paint.
Homeless ninja.
I was like thinking
Here's $3. Get the fuck out of
Yeah,
here.
right.
when she was like crawling on top, I was like, how did she even stand that smell? Like, really?
Why are you throwing yourself at a homeless dude in a weird tire cave? I mean, she wasn't attractive to begin with, but she could do a lot better than that guy. I tell you right now.
Well, he was kind of like a Ralph Macchio type.
He was,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but that doesn't justify that.
No, the
He did-
smell would be enough.
He didn't even have a shirt on most of the movie. You couldn't even find a shirt. Forget it.
Better than the fat boss.
I mean,
Yeah.
if those are your only
Uh-oh.
options, really, I mean, other than that, your options are being the weird chick, the weird naked chick on Bronson's lap that rolls down the hill periodically.
And they didn't even have meth back then.
I
This
wish they
was
would have. I
alcohol.
wish they would have. That would have at least not been such a bummer. You know what I mean? They would have been up. They would have been motivated. You know, and if
Things
you,
would have got done.
yeah, you know, if you think about it, like looking at all the effort that Freddie went through in that opening chase scene, dude, get a job. It's so much easier. It's so much easier. I was a scam artist for a while. I had to get up early and go to the DMV and fuck with people. It was a thing. It's so much easier just having a job, dude. Just fucking, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about getting arrested so much. All right, that is Street Trash, ladies and gentlemen. It's on Shudder. It's on Joe Bob's Drive-In, Last Drive-In. If you're interested, check it out. It's not a bad show. Be prepared for an hour and a half of what the hell is going on. What am I
Yeah.
watching? Why?
Definitely need a cocktail with
But not Viper. Anything but Viper.
it. Yeah.
Drink.
A Four Loko.
Don't do that either. The Viper or Four Loko.
Mad Dog.
Do a Mad Dog on the rocks,
They
like
don't
a
make
Joe.
Night Train anymore.
No, no. Or St. Ives. Remember that one?
Oh.
Colt 45, perhaps.
Night Train was your favorite.
Oh, it's getting bad. All right, inmates, we're going to take us a little break. We'll come back with some other stuff, huh? All righty. We'll hang out for another minute here on YouTube and Chop Block.
Mhm.
Any questions, comments, concerns, complaints?
Have you guys seen it?
In Street Trash? Tom, I know you have. TJ Swan. Is that a type of alcohol? Is that a type of alcohol, Tom? It sounds like one.
Sounds like one.
Must be an East Coast thing.
Is a malt.
Alan has funneled. Yeah, I remember St. Ives. Alan has funneled Mad Dog.
Damn.
That is a level
What
of
was
drunk.
that other
Ah,
table?
Yeah,
Oh.
more is bad. That's bad business. But if you're broke and you need to be hammered, probably because you're broke,
Yeah.
that's a good way to go about it.
Or when you're 19 and And that's all you can.
And that's all you can fit down your
TJ
pants.
Salon retails for $1.75.
Wow.
Wow.
$1.75, Tom.
That's
TJ Swan.
High quality stuff right there.
That is only nominally more than Viper was.
Right.
Oh, I never seen
That
either.
doesn't look that dissimilar from Viper. That sounds disgusting, Tom. Boone's Farm. You're right, Tom. That's another good one.
Ah.
Remember that homeless guy we bought the booze for in San Francisco, Darian? I do. He had a giant hole in the back of his pants. Matt,
Okay. You might want to explain
let me
yourself.
explain this. Crack House Matt and I, along with some other friends, went to San Francisco for a wrestling event. And
Wrestling hole in the pants.
Uh-huh.
San Francisco.
Buy some alcohol.
Hey-o.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was going to bring this up in a public forum like
Explain
this.
yourself.
There's a homeless dude, and he's like, "Hey, you guys got the." Matt and I got completely hammered in the parking lot at the wrestling event, and we gave this dude, what was it, Matt? I think it was a 40 of Natty Ice or something like that. This guy slammed it.
Wow.
He drank the entire thing like that. I was like, dude, you are on a level that I cannot even hang with. Maybe save that story for June, Pride Month. You're exactly right, Chris. Oh God, I am sick. Other than that, I'm good. Was it Old E, Matt? I think it was. Now that you mentioned it, yeah, it was pretty
Do
bad.
that next time.
Old E,
Yeah.
I could do it. I would
boy.
say we should do Edward 40 hands, but I can't run the equipment with two 40s in my hand,
Ooh,
unfortunately.
Trooper.
And I was underage. Matt was in fact underage.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we don't need to.
I mean, we don't need to. There are certain members of law enforcement watching and listening to this. We don't need to implicate anybody, Matt. Maybe say, huh? Yeah, that was a good time. I almost got in a fight in that parking lot with a guy wearing a skirt.
Oh.
It wasn't like a cross-dresser skirt, Crease. It was like a weird kilt, goth
okay.
type of a thing. And
Yeah, bagpipes.
no, he was just a jack off. And I don't remember if I said something or he said something, but I chased him and I was going to give him. All right, enough of that. Enough of that. I can run my equipment with 240s on my hands if I can find a girl with 240s. Tom, I will send her over to you. She can do amazing things with and without 40s. You'd be amazed.
Ooh, 40s. Woo.
That's hard. All right, guys, I think we're going to go ahead and kill the feed. Thank you very much for joining us. I wear kilts, but it's super gay when I do it. Well, this guy was like I think he had like a vampire thing going on, Crease. It wasn't a gay thing because it wasn't like he was a cross dresser, you know. It wasn't like a lady skirt. It was like a weird. I don't even know that it was a kilt. Now that I think about it, It might have just been like a weird. I don't know, but he said something and I didn't appreciate it, and I don't remember what he said, but it was about to go down. But I did not. I showed some restraint. I only chased him for 2 blocks, and then I let him slide. That and everybody was saying we had to go get in line to get into wrestling. All right.
Oh, do we know what we're doing next week?
We have no fucking clue.
Oh.
What do you? Oh, you know what? Let's do that Into the Dark thing until we hear from Steve. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right. Join us next week. We all have access to Hulu. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. I'll get you my
Okay.
username and password. Join us next week. We're gonna do I just watched that. Not LGBT movies. Crease, if you can get us a list of LGBT horror movies, we'll be happy to do it. Let's do Treehouse.
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 Oh.
It's on Hulu. It's on their Into the Dark Bloomhouse series. Yeah, join us next week for Treehouse. It's on streaming right now on Hulu. If anybody else wants to watch it, Sorority Babes and the Slime Ball Bolorama. We already did that one, Matt. It was on Shock Treatment like 5 years ago. I think me and Dale did it. All right, inmates, thank you for joining us. Join us next week for Treehouse. The regular podcast will be out later tonight, of course. And thank you to Buddy, Monica. Monica's parole officer is also in the house, here in my house. See what happens? She shows her boobs one week. Next week, he's here. I think he's got a taser on him in case she even
Yeah, neck
thinks
collar.
about. All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, guys.
Why am I